So our metals designs are going to be abstract, which means we're not trying to make them look like a dog or a cat or your grandma. We're trying to make shapes that work together. And that's very important. Your shapes actually have to work together. We're also going to be working with positive and negative shape, which means holes and then parts that are there. So there's a very specific formula for doing abstract designs in this metals project. We don't want to just make things up. We don't want to just say, okay, I'm going to put a triangle here and a blob over here and, I don't know, another blobby thing over here and say this is my design. That's not pretty. These shapes don't work together. It's all left brain symbols. You've got like the snaggly tooth thing that you make for the tops of mountains or for fur. You've got this like wavy line that you make for waves. And a triangle is obviously also a left brain symbol. So we don't want to use left brain symbols, and we want our things to work together. Here's my suggestion for this video. As I do one step, stop the video, do the one step, then start it again, do the next step, okay? So what I'm going to do is I have these these fabric books, which are pretty cool. And I want you to be looking at these and looking for good shapes. So like, diamond, not a great shape. Any shape that has a name to it is not going to be a very good shape. Okay, circles here, not a very good shape. But this shape right here, that's a very interesting shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that one shape on my paper. And I'm being really careful that I'm looking at the lines and like I'm not turning this shape into this M thing. I'm really looking at what is there. Okay, so I have my first shape. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to trace a little bit of the edge of this shape. So what I'm looking at here is this shape. So go ahead and stop your video and do that. Once you have that done, we have one shape drawn. We've traced one piece of another shape. I'm going to go and look for a different shape. So maybe I'll go into this book. And again, this shape here is not so interesting, but maybe I can find something more interesting off of this page. And I'm going to start right where this line starts, and I'm going to need to end it all the way over here. So it's a shape and not a line. And maybe go off of this shape here. Okay. So go ahead and stop the video and make your next shape, which connects to this shape. Once you've done that, we're going to trace both of these shapes here. Just like that. You go ahead, stop the video, and do that part on your design. Lastly, we need to look for one more shape. You need to have 3 shapes. I wouldn't do much more than 3 shapes because we're going to replicate this. So it's okay if you only have 3 shapes. It's probably better. Now again, this shape here of this leaf, kind of boring, but this shape that's inside it is kind of interesting. So I'm going to start here and draw this shape here. And it's going to start here just like before and go all the way to here. Okay, you go ahead and stop the video and draw your shape. When you're done, you should have 3 shapes that interlock together. The last step is to trace around the whole thing. You don't have to worry about how big these things are because we're going to scan them into the computer and we're going to be changing the size in the computer to make it the right size. Okay, so this is the first beginning of my very first design. What you're going to do is you're going to do this 5 times. So one here, I might start another one here, maybe starting with this shape right here. Totally independent of your first shape. We do this because your first idea is not always your best idea. Professional artists, when they have an assignment, they might do something 100 times before they decide the one that they think is the best. We're only going to do this 5 times. I'm not going to ask you to do it 100 times, but we're going to be doing a completely independent design over here, and we will choose the best of our 5.